Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock on August 5th, 2021, and this is the time and place scheduled to consider the request of Dominion Energy Utah, or DEU, to extend natural gas service to Goshen and Elberta, Utah, in docket number 21-057-06. My name is Yvonne Hogel, and I'm the Public Service Commission's designated presiding officer for this hearing. And we are here to consider the settlement stipulation that was reached in this case by DEU, the Office of Consumer Services, and the Division of Public Utilities. Let's take appearances for the record, please, beginning with the applicant.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. My name is Jennifer Nelson Clark. I am here as counsel for Dominion Energy Utah, and Cameron Sabin is here as my co-counsel. We have with us Austin Summers, who will be the company's, Mr. Summers provided pre-filed direct testimony. He will also present the settlement stipulation on behalf of the company. And then we have with us in the hearing room, Michael Gill, who also provided pre-filed direct testimony. And by telephone, we have Jeffrey Bybee and Mayor Kevin Staley, both of whom also provided testimony. And they are all here to answer any questions that you have today.
Okay, thank you. The Division of Public Utilities, please.
Good morning, Patricia E. Schmid for the Division of Public Utilities. With me is Eric Wharton. He has filed testimony in this docket in both direct and redacted, or both, sorry, redacted and unredacted confidential form. And that's it.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. The Office of Consumer Services, please.
Yes, I'm Robert Moore of the Attorney General's Office, representing the Office of Consumer Services. The office won't have a witness today, but Alex Ware of the office is here to answer any questions that might arise.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Clark, I believe you have something that you'd like us to consider.
I do. First, I wanted to let you know that the two witnesses that are appearing by phone can't hear you. I think they can hear the rest of us.
Can they hear me now?
We'll check.
Okay.
And while we're checking on that, paragraph 14 of the settlement stipulation provides that the application and pre-filed testimony will be admitted. And so based on that paragraph, the company would move for the admission of the application and all exhibits, including the pre-filed testimony of the witnesses we have with us today and the accompanying exhibits.
Okay, I assume there are no objections to that? They're admitted. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Okay. Okay, are you ready to call your witness?
I am.
Okay, please proceed.
The company calls Mr. Austin Summers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Summers, will you please state your full name and business address for the record?
Yes, my name is Austin Summers. My business address is 333 South State Street in Salt Lake City, Utah.
And what position do you hold with the company?
I'm the manager of rates and regulation.
Mr. Summers, can you please summarize the relief the company sought in the application in this matter, as well as the settlement stipulation?
Yes, and good morning, and thank you for your time today. Before I begin, I want to thank the division and the office for their help in this docket, and perhaps more importantly, in the last rural expansion docket when the company was granted approval to extend natural gas service to Eureka in docket 19-057-31. Their input in that docket helped address the necessary aspects of the initial expansion program to Eureka and helped to make settlement in this docket a straightforward process. In this docket, Dominion Energy now seeks Commission approval to expand to the rural communities of Goshen and Elberta. Though this would be new infrastructure in new rural communities, the resource decision is nothing more than a continuation of the program that was approved in the Eureka docket. The application and accompanying testimony provided all of the evidence required to support approval of the resource decision. In my pre-filed direct testimony, I addressed the evidentiary requirements for the resource decision, discussed how and why the company chose Goshen and Elberta as the next expansion locations, explained how many customers are expected to participate, how costs would be recovered, and also provided other relevant financial and operational information. Mr. Gill's testimony explains the scope of the project, the construction schedule, the cost of the project, and the geographic results of the company's interest, of the community's interest in natural gas. Mr. Bybee's testimony discussed the process of converting appliances to natural gas, the disposal of propane equipment, and the safety benefits of being a Dominion Energy customer. Finally, Mayor Staley discussed community growth in Goshen, the benefits natural gas would bring to his community, and explained his support of the project. Taken together, the evidence provided shows that the resource decision is just and reasonable in result, and that approval of the application is in the public interest. The settlement stipulation largely accepts the company's proposal as filed. There are a few additional provisions, and so I'll draw your attention to paragraphs 6 through 9 of the settlement stipulation. Paragraph 6 states that Dominion Energy should be authorized to construct the facilities proposed in the application to serve the communities of Goshen and Elberta. Paragraph 7 then explains that the costs of the expansion will be collected through the Rural Expansion Rate Adjustment Tracker that is contained in Section 9.02 of the tariff. Paragraph 8 provides that the company will file a copy of the franchise agreement with the Commission once they are finalized and executed. And I'm pleased to report that Dominion Energy and Goshen have entered into a franchise agreement and that the company will file a copy of that agreement later today. Finally, paragraph 9 states if the costs of the resource decision exceed the estimates provided in the testimony of Mr. Gill, the company will seek Commission approval of the excess costs prior to including those costs in the tracker. Approval of any increase will be subject to the statutory spending caps that were discussed in my direct testimony. Based on the evidence in the record and the stipulation of the parties in this docket, the company requests approval of the settlement stipulation. And that concludes my summary.
Mr. Summers is available for commission questions or cross-examination, and the remainder of the company's witnesses are also available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, I don't either. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you. The division would like to call Mr. Eric Orton. May he please be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your pre-file testimony has already been admitted. Do you adopt that pre-file testimony as part of your testimony before the hearing officer and commission today?
I do.
Do you have a summary that you would like to present?
I do.
Please proceed.
Thank you. On August 27th, 2020, the Commission approved the Eureka application. This application and the associated gas system are essentially add-ons to the Eureka project. The deficiencies the division identified in that application were adequately addressed and rectified, and boundaries were set before that project proceeded. In the current docket, Dominion has addressed the division's similar concerns in its testimony and data request responses, such that it provided the information necessary for the division, which enabled us to analyze the merits of the application and offer our recommendation for approval. As with any project such as this, public safety is primary. Proper information dissemination will be critical, with particular efforts focused to help the do-it-yourselfers receive reliable information. This help and support should be provided and should be a coordinated effort from qualified building inspectors, HVAC contractors, propane providers, and primarily Dominion, which Dominion has agreed to. Also, it agreed to stay within budget or apply to the Commission for permission to spend more and to provide copies of the franchise agreements. The division supports the extension of natural gas service to rural communities in principle. Dominion still carries the burden of proof of just and reasonable rates based on substantial evidence, complete information, well-supported documentation, and substantially justified assumptions, safeguards, and commitments. From its review of the application and responses to data requests, the division is satisfied that these conditions have been met, and therefore, on July 28, 2021, we signed the settlement stipulation which was filed in this docket. The division affirms that this stipulation fulfills the statutory requirements, and approval of the application should proceed as it is in the public interest. The division supports the settlement stipulation, which allows extending natural gas service to Goshen and Elberta as just and reasonable in result, and fulfills the legislative intent. Thank you.
Mr. Orton is now available for questions from the hearing officer or from the parties.
Any questions from the parties?
None, thank you.
No questions, thank you.
And none from me, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
Again, the office does not have a witness in this case, but I will represent that pursuant, consistent with the settlement stipulation, the office believes the settlement is just and reasonable and result and in the public interest. Thank you.
Okay. I believe that I don't have any other questions, or any questions at all, actually. Does anybody have anything else that is pending? No. Okay, well, thank you for your time.